Welcome to another episode of Yorkshire Pop Top Adventures. So it starts off with the hook that goes on the headrest of the chairs at the front. Absolutely invaluable piece of equipment. Super cheap, about £4 or £5 on Amazon for 4. They hook onto the back of the headrest, and you can hook bags and coats and rucksacks, things like that. I've mainly used them because we've not been away since having these. I've mainly used them for hanging shopping bags on. So I nipped to Sainsbury's the other day, had a bag full of shopping, just popped it on the back there. It just stops it from rolling around in the back because there's a chasm of room in here, and usually it all ends up in the footwell and the step at the bottom there. Or somebody's got to have it between their feet and the front. So it just means it's out of the way and it's safe and secure. I hung my backpack on the back of it the other day when I had a job and it had all my photography gear in it. Held up really well. So yeah, these little hooks, awesome. Go get them. They are ace. By the way, none of this is sponsored. It's just me showing the things that we like to use in the van, or I like to use daily or when we go away. Anyway, this time I've brought myself a list. So number 2 are the new cups. So we bought some new cups, some Bodum thermal cups. Now, those who watched the first video will realise that actually I already talked about a cup in the first video, which was the Costa coffee cup, which is brilliant. I love that cup because it seals. It means you can throw coffee in it, or tea, or cold drinks, seal it up and throw it in your bag and it will not leak. That's why we like those. The problem we had with them is that they wouldn't fit into the drinks holder in the front of the van, whereas these fit super snug and they are brilliant. They hold their heat or keep things cold really well. So the Bodum cups, we've got one each. And we use these as literally as the van mugs. I will put links into the description below of all the things that have got links that I can show you. Number 3, an OBD reader. Now, basically, it's a Bluetooth OBD reader, onboard diagnostics reader that goes into your OBD slot in the van. And basically what it does is it lets me read car information directly from the car. So on my phone or my iPad, I can get like the oil temperature, revs. It's all a little bit, it's not really an essential this, but I think it's a cool thing to have. It also does onboard diagnostics, so if there's something wrong with the van, I can read the diagnostics and clear some faults. But then at least it makes me aware of what the fault is before I go into a garage and then not having to do it. I'll put a link in the description to the app that I downloaded. I think it was $2.99, and the OBD reader, which is Bluetooth, and I think that was $12.99. So it's properly cheap to be able to figure out what's going on with your van. And it shows you, it's all a little bit kind of geeky, but like it shows you like your rev dials, and you can have your speedometer. So it's a little bit geeky, not really an essential, but anyway, it's something to think about. Back to the list. The dash cam. Now, I think this is something that I've touched on before in the van tour. Now, the dash cam is brilliant and absolutely invaluable. Sadly, the one that I've bought isn't available from the seller that was selling it on Amazon anymore, but I'll try and find one very similar to pop in the description below so you can have a look at them yourself. It was about £50, and it came with a rear dash cam or rear camera that I had to feed the wire through all the way to the back and out, which was a bit of a pain, I'll be honest with you. But that means that I've got full view of the rear without having to look through the rear view windows, which sometimes, I mean, you don't really get a very good view out of these windows, certainly not in my van anyway. And it records front and back. You can have the whole screen as a rear view camera, or you can split the screen so you can have front and rear, or you can just have the front and then a little one in the right hand corner of the rear. It's completely up to you. It's got if you are looking at dash cams, make sure they've got things like cyclic record or cycling recording, because basically that means that it'll record for 5 minutes and then stop and then record for another 5 minutes. It means you don't have to go through hours and hours and hours of footage, of constant footage. Not only that, when it gets full, the card, it will then start recording back over the first recording. You can save recording, so if something cool happens, like a deer runs out in the road, or you do have a crash, God forbid, it means that you can press save and it will not overwrite that particular file until you format the card. So that's absolutely invaluable. I've used it a few times just to check, see whether I was in the wrong. I was, but that's totally fine. But it's great to be able to check that. So then, you know, at least you know what the problem is. It's great for insurance. So if the insurance company is like, whose fault was it? I've got it on my dash cam. It was right on my backside. You can see on the rear view camera, and you can see how he overtook me and went mental and blah, blah, blah. However it works out, if you've got a dash cam that doesn't look like a dash cam in your car as well, because it's actually a mirror as well, then it's win-win. So yeah, the dash cam, absolutely awesome piece of kit. Not necessarily a camper van accessory, but certainly a driving accessory within the van. Next thing on the list, we have got the toilet. Now, I've got B-roll of the toilet, because I'm using the toilet as a table at the moment. Now, the toilet is brilliant. It's the Porta Potty 165, the Thetford, and we have a whole separate video. I'll put a link just up here. We've got a whole separate, it's probably up there. I don't know which way is it. Is it there? I reckon it's there. I'm taking a wild guess. It's going to come across there. Anyway, so yeah, it's the we've got a full review unboxing on the channel as well of this. So if you want to pop over to that one, we can talk more about it. But what we have bought for it is a cover that goes over it, which is brilliant. A friend of mine was telling me. I was showing her the van and things like that, and she's like, oh, you do know you can get a cover for those? And I'm like, well, that's brilliant, because I don't want to open the van and then the first thing people see is a toilet. And not only that, I didn't want to be seeing a toilet while I were eating my burgers for dinner. So the cover that goes over it is absolutely amazing. It's made by the same people that make the toilets. It's designed for that specific toilet, and you can buy them for your specific size toilet as well. So I got mine for the 165, and cheap as chips as well, not that expensive. They also have a foam top, so you can use it as a seat, and we use it as a seat in the van all the time. When the table goes out here and everyone's sat here eating, so you can get two people sat here and the table comes out here, the spun around chair at the other side doesn't come close enough so you can sit on it and eat at the same table. When you've got the Porta Potty with the seat cover, whether you're using it as a toilet or not, it's great just as a seat, because you can tuck right in and then you can all be up at the table at the same time, should it be like raining outside or too cold to be sitting outside. So yeah, a great little addition to the van, and it's come in handy in more ways than one. Another reason that it came in handy was sometimes if you're parked in a car park and you want to put the kettle on, you want to make some sandwiches, things like that, you sat on it and you're as low as this, so it means you can sit at the kitchen and work quite comfortably on the chair without having to sort of stoop over or be on your knees and things like that. So absolutely invaluable piece of kit. If not the Porta Potty and the cover, a small seat, absolutely invaluable. What else have we got there? Oh, the drawer under the seat, absolutely ace. Now, some of you who have got vans may have built your own van, may have had it pre-built or bought direct from the factory. That's absolutely fine. I didn't, and that was just like a chasm of space underneath, and literally we'd throw stuff under there and it just slide around. It didn't really have a purpose. So I fit a drawer on drawer sliders, quite heavy duty drawer sliders. I fit a drawer, it just opens out. We use that really for our clothes, so we've all got a section. Most we've been away sort of 3 or 4 days, and all our clothes fit in there absolutely fine, because as you will see if you watch our videos, all our food goes in this cupboard here, which means that when the bed's out we can still get breakfast. An extra water container. Now, we've got the water container under the sink, which has got the pump in it, which works with the tap. We generally just use the tap for boiling water and or brushing our teeth and washing hands and cleaning pots and things. We don't generally tend to drink out of that tap water. So yeah, if it's boiled I feel all right, but if not, what we do is we use this. We just take this down to the tap, or we'll take our own water until it runs out and then fill it up at the campsite, and then this is what we use as our drinking water in the van, which is ace. And this is just a plastic bottle. It can be any bottle, I'll be honest with you. It doesn't really have to be this one. Again, I think I got this from Sainsbury's. It was on a deal one summer. But yeah, something similar to that with a little tap on it, and then you've got your own little separate water source. And while we're travelling, that just goes into the sink to stop it from sliding around everywhere. What's next on the list? We are flying through these bad boys. Right then, so spare gas bottle. Is one thing that always bothered me was running out of gas mid-holiday and then being in the van, having everything sort of out, and then having to pack everything away to drive away and go get a gas bottle. When we go away for any length of time, we'll probably take the bikes, which means like cycling to the shop, which is totally fine. But gas bottles are quite heavy. I don't particularly fancy cycling with a gas bottle on my back. So what we do all the time is we bring a spare brand new, full gas bottle. It's always in the van, always, 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 when we go away, obviously. Which means that if it does run out, then at least we've got something to swap it over with immediately. And then the next time we're out, we'll just take that other gas bottle back and get a replacement, and then that becomes our spare. So yeah, I think that is an absolute game changer when it comes to feeling like you're pretty much prepared. I know it's a little bit of extra weight in the van, and I'm sure you might not be able to do it if you've got bigger gas bottles, but this one is the 907 camping gas one, so it's a lot easier to store in the van. It just goes out back. What else have we got in here? Oh yeah, so if you've got a toilet, you're going to need some toilet fluid. Blue toilet fluid. This was from a local shop called the Factory Shop or something like that. You can get it online. It's about £10 for two. You get a blue, and then you get a flush one as well, which is pink. Just essential to have when you are camping, because that helps degrade anything that you put into the toilet without going into detail, and it also takes the smell away completely. So we got a new sponge as well. I've still got the tag on it. Now it's called a Scrubber Dub. Michelle picked this up in a shop the other day, and it's kind of got like really soft, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like plastic, but it's tough on that side and then soft on that side, and it basically means that you don't have to wring out your sponge. It's great in the van because there's no drips or anything like that. Once it's dry, whereas a sponge retains water, can get a bit smelly and stuff. When you're in a van, a small smell, it's really hard to say that, a small smell in a sponge pungs the place out. That's what it looks like. Probably just Google Scrubber Dub. Right, okay, so what's next? Right then, so I've got, some might say it's a little bit overkill, but when we're packed up at home, I've got a wireless alarm system thing. So this is what you would see if you were if you saw an alarm in a house up in the corner somewhere. Now you can get these wireless systems that go to a separate alarm inside the house, and the batteries probably last about 6 to 8 months because they're not on at all. They only go off when you set the alarm off. So basically what this does is this goes into the dash, into the cup holder of the dashboard, and then the alarm goes into the house. If anybody goes into the van, now if you can walk past it and it's fine, as soon as you go into the van, this triggers off a sensor which sets off the alarm inside the house. You can throw this away all you like as a thief, but the alarm is always going to go off in the house. So you can't stop that because it's in the door, which I think is just a great little deterrent when people see that as well. Next, so I've got a tracker for the van. I'm not going to show you where that is because that would defeat the object of having a tracker. So the tracker is in the van. It's by a company called TK Star, and they provide an app. I can track my van wherever it is. The other day, sadly, I had a cycling accident with a friend of mine, and we had to get Michelle to come to us. I sent her the Google link, and I could see the van moving. I knew where it was, and I said, oh, she's literally 500 yards away. She's on her way, and she's doing 56 mile an hour. Do you know what I mean? So I knew you all the information is there on the van, so you know exactly where it is, and it is pinpoint accuracy as well. It absolutely is pinpoint accuracy. It's got a really strong magnet on it, so you can stick it to places in the van. Make sure it's somewhere that's out of sight and quite difficult to get to. Don't make it easy for you to get to, because obviously it needs charging. But the charge probably lasts about a month. Make sure it's difficult for you to get to, because if it's difficult for you to get to and you know where it is, it's going to be twice as difficult for somebody who doesn't know where it is to get to it. So somebody steals your van, you can look on the app and you can go, that's where it is, I'm off to go get it. So absolutely invaluable piece of equipment. And again, just safety, peace of mind more than anything else. Not only that, it's got a vibration sensor on it, so when somebody slams a door or wherever it is gets banged, I get a text message to say, and it comes up as Jeff in the thing. It says Jeff sensor alarm, and then I know that something's happening with the van. Which by that point, then that alarm's gone off, the van alarm's gone off. They've got to get past the crook lock. Just deterrence. I'm not saying it's infallible, and I'm not saying somebody can't get past all those things, but it just makes it more difficult. Next. I got the fridge. We went for the Dometic CRE50, not the CRX50. purely from a budget point of view, the CRX50 I think was probably about £60 or £70 more expensive, and it's just in the design. Inside it is exactly the same. The power consumption, everything like that is exactly the same. So we just thought, well, we might as well just get the CRE50 instead. It fits absolutely perfectly, works wonderfully. We've got an install video and a small kind of unboxing stroke review video as well on the channel. I'll pop a link into the description. Is it that side? Can't remember when I'm looking at it. I think it's there. Anyway, so yeah, I'll pop that one in there so you can have a look at it in more detail. That is a complete essential, I think, in any camper van, either a cool box or a fridge, so you can keep all your food nice and cold. It's got a freezer section as well, which genuinely works. We've kept lots of things frozen in there, burgers and meats and stuff. So yeah, and don't turn it up full because it freezes everything in the bottom half as well. We found that out. So anyway, yes, next thing, hard standing pegs. Now, you will have seen when we did our video to Hawkshead campsite that we got put on a hard standing site, and they were just like, okay, so I got the normal pegs out and bent them, and we didn't realise that you needed hard standing pegs, which these are just like beast, absolute beast. We got them, I've never even opened them, have we? We got them from the campsite in Hawkshead, but you can get them from any great camping shop. Go Outdoors or your local camping shop will do hard standing pegs. They're colour coded. I think orange ones are kind of like the almost top tier, and then I think red ones they'll smash through unobtainium and things like that. How many have we done now? 14 things. Okay, so next cool thing. Safe. So I installed a safe in the camper van. Not because I think that I'm going to store crown jewels in here, but mainly because I think it's a great thing to put in like your phones or your passports or cash. Nobody wants them in a glove box, especially if you go walking. So we've got a safe place, no pun intended, or every pun intended. We've got a safe place for them, which locks. It's a proper safe. And what I've done is I've also lined it out with the insulation stuff that I insulated the van with. And that basically means that when things are in there, they don't rattle around. So yeah, that's I think an essential thing if you're going to be travelling abroad or taking valuables with you, that you want peace of mind when you go out for a walk to be stored away. Curtain pole. Bear with. This is a curtain pole that extends. You screw it and it gets wider. So basically you unscrew this bit and that bit gets wider and wider and wider and wider, and then it goes the full length of the van. If I just stretch it so it's slightly bigger than that, and then it's got a little mechanism on it that it's kind of like a spring loaded, and basically that means that I can put that at the front of the van between the chairs and the back, and then add these curtains which I bought measured the length of the top to the bottom of the van. So then when I'm stealth camping, it means that I can just hang these up and it just looks like a bulkhead rather than a camper van, and it blocks out all the light. These are blackout curtains. I'll set them up at the end and you can have a look and I'll show you what that looks like, because brilliant for stealth camping. I've yet to use it, but I'm thinking of doing a stealth camp this week in the lakes. Again, not 100% sure, but I will be putting a video up if I do. What else? Electric blankets. Absolutely brilliant. So we bought one of these comfort control electric blankets. When I first switched it on, I was like, it's a bit rubbish. It's not hot, just don't get warm at all. However, if you lay this out and you put your sleeping bag on it or your covers and things like that, and you just leave it for 20-25 minutes, it just warms everything really nicely. So if you're a bit chilled to the bone, you're wild camping, you can't turn an electric heater on or anything like that, and if you haven't got a diesel heater like I haven't got, this is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it. So basically I plugged this into, I'm not going to go into the electric side of things too much because I am going to make a separate video on that, but because this is 240 volt and it plugs in 240 volt, you can get 12 volt ones cheap on Amazon, but I don't know if I trust them. I wouldn't want them setting the van on fire overnight and things like that, whereas a brand like Silent Night, you would hope has a little bit more research and development to make sure that these don't set on fire overnight. So this plugs in a normal plug socket into my Bowden's generator that I've talked about in previous videos, and there'll be a more detailed thing coming about it as well, which means I can plug in, when I'm off grid, 240 volt appliances. It's basically like it stores the power from the sun, and it also can charge my leisure battery up as well, which is ace. Next thing, flying through them. The pans. So you'll have seen on our videos Michelle using the pans while she's been making dinner and things like that. Or you'll have seen me eating porridge out of them. Now basically it looks like that. They are by Tefal, and then the handle, because the set has two pans, one smaller so it goes inside itself. You get a handle which clips on like that. So then you've got a full pot handle, and it is brilliant. This handle is ace. Absolutely love it. And it just clips off like that, and then you get your other pot, and you go, okay, right, okay, there we go, all good and dusted. And we've had like potatoes with water, and that's quite heavy in these pans, and they're ace. Now, while these are in transit and we're driving along, that and rattles really do my head in. So we bought these. Now these are by a company called Pro Cook, and they basically just slot into the pans like that, and then we'll put the other one in the thing. So then basically that then slots into there. Nice, it's quiet, lovely, and then we've got another one there just in between it to stop it from bashing in the cupboard as well. Now, the beauty about these pans, they also come with their quite flat lids, and they sort of crunch down like that, which means they're brilliant, and then they go flat as well, so when the lids are stored away they're quite flat. But then if you cook something in them and you think to yourself, I want that tomorrow, but you can also buy little lids for them, which then basically turn those into little Tupperware boxes, and you can pop those in your fridge. And then say for instance you made a curry and you've not eaten it all, wait for it to cool down, put the lid on like this, pop it into your fridge, warm it up the next day. Everyone's a winner. You can pre-cook meals, so I've pre-cooked dinners before and then gone camping, and then all I've had to do is warm it up when I get there. That makes a huge difference to your cooking time and the amount of mess you make in your van on your first night, because sometimes you just want to just turn up and crack open a beer. So yeah, that makes a huge difference. Love these pans, highly recommend them. And there's a big lid for the bigger pan as well, and also another one of them. You have to buy these separately, by the way, but I think they're on the Tefal website. Next, let's talk about cooking. I don't know if I talked about the RidgeMonkey before, but even if I did, I'd like to talk about it again, because this is, if you're going to buy anything from this video, and if you're going to use anything in this video, get a RidgeMonkey. Because at first we were like, oh, maybe it's just like a really expensive, just a faddy thing, just because somebody else has, it's like all the van lifers like them, so therefore it's like, you've got to have one, haven't you? Well, actually we got one, and we've never looked back. Genuinely genius. We have made roast potatoes in these, we've cooked chips in them, you can cook slices of pizza in them, toast, you can put toast in them. They do take a little bit longer, obviously, it's like making fried bread, but yeah, just absolutely awesome. For those that don't know about the RidgeMonkey, it basically is like two pans stuck together, and it's like a sandwich toasty maker, or two frying pans. These comes apart as well, so you can take the RidgeMonkey apart, if I can do that. Yeah, so you've got two pans. Where the handles, you say? Aha, they are there. So the handles basically click on. The handles basically just click on like that. So if you imagine like you've got a pan, so that's pan number one, that's ace, and then there's another handle there. Any of you eagle-eyed viewers as well would have been watching the first time we used this in one of the videos. I think it was a Hawkshead video. You'll notice that Michelle put the handles on the wrong way. Go and see if you can find it. Go and see if you can find it and comment on that video. She'll be mortified. So anyway, yeah, so they basically then click together. It's a bit of an art form to do. There we go. So they click together, and then you've got basically like a gas version of a lean mean grilling machine. So you can do burgers in here. We've done burgers and things like that. That closes up, seals up. There's little magnets on there that hold that together. And if you want to flip your burgers, you just do that and pop it down on the side. Absolutely awesome bit of kit. You can get bigger versions of these. This is kind of like that big. I know I've got a big head, but yeah, you can get bigger version of these. And I think RidgeMonkey also do other camping essential items as well. They do like bigger pots and stuff. So have a look on the RidgeMonkey website and see what you can find. That's nice. Free tip. Oh, and also that particular RidgeMonkey also came with this, which just slots inside the RidgeMonkey when it's stored away, and you've got like a little miniature fish slice or whatever they're called, and a spoon and another spoon for mixing, things like that. So absolutely essential piece of kit. I personally think, some of you might disagree, I think there are cheaper versions of these out there as well, so I've not tried one, so I can't comment. But yeah, RidgeMonkey, awesome. Also comes in a little neoprene bag. Nice. Oh, who don't like stuff that come in neoprene bags? Anyway, are we done? What have we got here? Oh, right, okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about is the strap that goes around the top of the canvas on the pop top. Now, pop top, nice. So anyway, when the pop top is up, absolutely fine, the canvas is stretched out wonderfully. What we were finding is when we were pulling the pop top down again is the wind was pushing, or the air pressure in the van was pushing the canvas outwards, which then meant that it had the potential to really get stuck in the scissor bits at the back, and then it would tear the canvas, and then it would, you know, render it useless. So we got a bit of bungee cord, a few quid off Amazon or eBay, or any camping shop as well. Don't forget to support local. And that just wraps around, and what it does is when you start pulling it down, the bungee pulls it in for you, and then, I mean, it don't look great, it goes through your window at the front, but I'd rather have it not looking so great and keeping my canvas good than catching my canvas in the mechanism and breaking it. So what it does is it pulls it in as you pull it down, and then it pulls it in together, and then you can strap the roof down and off you go. Absolutely awesome piece of kit. Very, very simple piece of kit, but awesome at the same time. Right, so I'm just going to set up the pole. As I said, I was going to set it up to show you what it looks like when it's up. My daughter's outside now making lots and lots of noise, which is a bit annoying. Now what I do, I've got two curtains. Make sure it goes up on here. It needs to be moved in a little bit. So just screw it that way. And then like that, and like that. So I've basically got a curtain which goes like that, and that closes up and goes from the top to the bottom. Now obviously you've got the bits on the side here. What I use is little magnets. So the hooks that I use in the van, usually to hang bags up and things like that, I use because they're super strong magnets. You could use any magnet, I suppose, and they basically then just magnet onto there and there, just any bit of metal in the van, which is cool. And then another bit will go just up here and here, and then that bit is basically gapped off. It looks like there's quite a lot of light that comes out of there, but there's not at all. When you go outside at night time, when the lights are on in here, when you look from the outside, you can't actually see this gap. You'd have to come right up and look underneath like that. No one's going to do that. Thank you ever so much for watching. I am sorry it's taken ages to do this. Camp safe, look after yourselves, and we'll see you on the next adventure. See you later, bye.